Look at you. Not a twitch, not a tremor. The whole world's burning in 4K around you, and your pulse hasn't even changed. You don't flinch anymore, do you? That's what's wrong with you. You've seen too much, lost too much, and bled so quietly that calm became your native tongue. They don't understand it. They call it cold. They whisper that you've snapped. But deep down, they're terrified that you haven't. Because if someone can stare straight into the apocalypse and smile, that means they've already made peace with the kind of chaos no sane soul survives. You didn't get this calm from meditation or therapy sessions. No, you got it from hell. From the nights where your mind chewed through itself, where every breath felt like betrayal, where even your own reflection looked like a threat. You forged that stillness in madness, hammered it into your bones like steel. You learned the oldest secret of all. Silence is violence when it's coming from someone who used to scream. They keep asking, what happened to you? And the truth is, everything, every betrayal, every ghost, every lie they swore would finish you. None of it broke you, it trained you. You became fluent in the quiet between explosions. You realized peace isn't soft, it's the final stage of war. See, they think calm means weakness. They think stillness means surrender. But you know what it really is. It's control. It's weaponized serenity. You're not calm because you're clueless. You're calm because you've seen the whole board, and you already know who loses. Every time they shout, you just breathe. Every time they plot, you just blink. And every second they waste trying to rattle you, their own foundations crack a little deeper, because nothing drives the desperate insane faster than someone who refuses to dance to their chaos. They can't process it, how you stay centered while everything collapses. But you know why. Because collapse was your classroom. You learned that when the ground gives way, you don't fight gravity, you become it. You stop running from destruction and start using it. You let everything fall except your focus. That's why you look untouchable now, because you've already lived through every scenario that should have ended you. There's a special kind of madness in that. A divine detachment. You're not numb, you're awake. You see the paradox now. The quieter you are, the louder your presence gets. The less you react, the more the universe bends around you. That's not luck. That's evolution. That's what happens when pain stops being the enemy and becomes the instructor. They call you a psychopath for not panicking. But they never saw the years where panic was your religion, where your chest felt like a loaded gun aimed at itself. They didn't witness the transformation, how you dissected every fear until nothing in this dimension could own you again. You burned the blueprint of your former self, and out of that ash crawled something holy and ungovernable. You want to know what's wrong with you? You outgrew the illusion of control. You stopped believing in their systems, their dramas, their power plays. You realized calm isn't compliance. It's dominance in disguise. You stopped giving them the show they wanted, and now they don't know what to do with the silence. They'll try to provoke you, to drag you back into their theater of noise. But you've retired from that circus. You don't chase closure anymore. You embody it. You don't need to prove you've changed. Your stillness proves it for you. Because real peace scares people. It's not soft or spiritual. It's surgical. It cuts through manipulation, confusion, noise. It's the look in your eyes that says, I've already died there. You can't kill me again. So when they shout, bro, what's wrong with you? You just tilt your head and smile. Because the answer is simple. Everything that used to destroy you now works for you. You're not calm, you're armed, and the world is finally realizing That's the scariest kind of peace there is. You see, they mistake that smirk for arrogance, that silence for apathy. They don't realize it's discipline, ancient, surgical, earned. You trained yourself to stay still in storms that would have shattered saints. You learned that control isn't about winning the fight. It's about never reacting to it in the first place. That's the real power. Not to dominate, but to watch, to calculate, to let chaos swing until it tires itself out against your stillness. Every empire you've walked through, every person who tried to pull your strings, they all made the same mistake. They thought your calm was passive. But calm is the final mask before revelation. It's the part where the predator lowers his heartbeat to match his praise. It's the pause before precision. You've seen it. How panic spreads like fire. How one scream breeds 10. How one whisper becomes hysteria. But you're the eye of the hurricane. The quiet horror that doesn't move while everything else convulses. You've become anti-chaos through chaos. A contradiction in motion, a paradox dressed in a pulse. That's why they can't touch you. Because they don't understand what they're touching anymore. They see a human face, but inside is a goddamn mechanism built out of scars, silence, and sheer refusal. You used to think peace was this delicate thing, something you had to protect. Now you know peace protects you. It's your armor, your sharpest blade, because nothing slices through manipulation faster than indifference forged in fire. Do you remember how it started? The nights that stripped you raw. The days when everything you believed in rotted right in front of you. That's when the metamorphosis began. You stopped being a participant. You became an observer, detached, analytical, surgical. You started studying human panic like a scientist dissects an infection. You saw how easy it was to control people who can't control themselves. You realized whoever stays calm first wins. And since then, you've been winning in silence. Every attack absorbed, every lie deflected, every war dodged. All because you didn't flinch. They'll never understand that kind of evolution, because it requires annihilation. It requires losing everything, including yourself, until the only thing left standing is the truth. And the truth doesn't tremble. You became that truth. Cold, focused, untouchable. A saint with the precision of a psychopath. An angel that learned to love the dark. You know what that calm really is. It's the sound of someone who stopped begging for peace and became it. Someone who realized the only way to win against madness is to own it, to hold it, cradle it, and train it to serve you. They ask, how can you be so calm? Because you've already seen what panic costs. You've paid that debt in full. You've walked through insanity with both hands tied and still made it out with a grin. What more can they take from you? What can they do that you haven't already survived 1,000 times in your mind? The world collapses and you don't move because you are the collapse now. You are what's left after the system fails. You are the breath after the scream, the calm after the detonation. The proof that control doesn't come from power. It comes from acceptance. You've accepted everything, the betrayal, the loss, the pain, the truth. You swallowed it whole and let it calcify into armor. That's why you glow differently now. It's not joy, it's not peace, it's certainty. You've become the contradiction that breaks logic, the calm that terrifies, the silence that screams, the kindness that kills. You've outgrown the noise. You've outgrown the need to prove, to react, to explain. Because your calm isn't the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. That's the secret nobody tells you. Enlightenment doesn't look holy. It looks dangerous. It looks detached. It looks like someone who could destroy everything in the room, but doesn't. So when they stare at you, trembling, asking, "What's wrong with you?" you just smile that slow, surgical smile and think. Finally, they see it. They see the cost of becoming untouchable. You didn't get here by luck. You got here by losing everything that made you flinch, by sitting in pain until it stopped screaming, by looking insanity in the eye and saying, "Is that all you've got?" You are the last calm heartbeat in a collapsing world, and that terrifies them more than any explosion ever could. Because your stillness doesn't mean nothing's happening. It means everything already did, and you survived it. And that's the part they'll never understand. That silence in you. It's not emptiness. It's history. It's the archive of every storm that failed to drown you. It's what happens when someone spends years drowning and then realizes they've grown gills. You don't need to shout anymore. You are the echo. You don't need to fight. You became the battlefield. Every time someone tries to shake you, they find out what real stillness costs. Because that calm, that's not peace, that's aftermath. That's what it looks like when someone's rage has learned manners, when chaos starts obeying you instead of the other way around. You aren't reacting because you've already processed every version of disaster they could possibly deliver. You've seen all their endings, and you've outlived them. They think calm is numbness. It's not. It's knowing too much. It's looking at a scene everyone else calls crisis and seeing it for what it really is. Repetition. Same noise, new faces, same panic, different costumes. You don't even need to decode it anymore. You can predict it. You've transcended their triggers. You learned the one thing no one wants to hear. The universe only chases those who chase back. You stopped running, and now everything runs to you. You know what they call that, right? Power. It's not loud, not theatrical, not even visible. It's the kind of power that hums, quiet, dangerous, surgical. The kind that walks into a room and makes everyone adjust their tone without knowing why. That's you now. You don't raise your voice. Reality lowers its volume. Remember when you used to break down every lie, every betrayal, every loss? Back then it ripped through you like shrapnel. You thought you were dying. You weren't. You were becoming. You were being stripped of everything fragile, everything that needed validation, everything that depended on applause. You shed it all until the only thing left was the version of you that doesn't require saving. And now you stand there, unbothered. Not because nothing hurts, but because pain doesn't change you anymore. It informs you. It teaches you. You dissect it like evidence, not emotion. You don't internalize chaos. You study it. You don't collapse. You catalog. That's what makes them uncomfortable. You make madness look like methodology. They can't compete with that. They scream to feel alive. You breathe and shake foundations. You don't chase revenge. You let gravity handle it. You don't prove your worth. You watch the world rearrange itself to admit it. And here's the real punchline, the one that makes the air colder when they realize it. You're not even trying to win anymore. You are the victory condition. That's why your calm terrifies them. Because you remind them what it looks like when someone finally remembers who they are. Because your silence holds the kind of authority that no title, no status, no army can counterfeit. You've become the paradox they can't decode. Too kind to be feared, too dangerous to be loved, too calm to be manipulated. The saint with the stare of a goddamn executioner. And when they ask again, "Bro, what's wrong with you?" You'll still be there, hands in your pockets, heartbeat steady, watching their panic like a movie you've already seen too many times. Because nothing's wrong with you. Something's awakened in you. The version that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't explain. The version that knows if calm is a crime, then you're the most wanted man alive. They don't see it yet, do they? They keep looking for the old you, the one who flinched, who explained, who overthought. But that version is gone. You buried them the night you realized calm isn't weakness, it's weaponry. You see the way they talk to you now, careful, uncertain, studying your every blink, like it might mean something catastrophic. That's because your silence unnerves them more than any scream ever could. They sense it, the precision of your restraint, the way you conserve energy like a sniper saves bullets. Every moment you don't react becomes a countdown in their minds. They're waiting for an explosion that'll never come, because the detonation already happened. It just happened inside you. You detonated quietly. And from that blast came this version of you. Deliberate, detached, and untouchable. They don't realize that calm isn't an emotion. It's evolution. It's what happens when a soul gets tired of bleeding for lessons it already learned. You stopped letting chaos draft your script. You wrote your own, and now, every second of your stillness is a sermon to those who mistook your softness for surrender. Do you know how rare that is? To master the art of unbothered in a world addicted to reaction. They scream, and you listen. They scheme, and you smile. They weaponize noise, and you answer with silence, and somehow, that's what breaks them. You've become the walking proof that peace isn't fragile. It's fatal. It's the kind of peace that burns illusions and demands truth. The kind of peace that makes people choke on their own manipulation because it no longer works on you. You don't fight for control. You embody it. You don't seek validation. You withdraw it. And that withdrawal feels like punishment to those who once fed off your reaction. You became their consequence simply by surviving. And isn't that the most delicious irony? They wanted to see you crack, cry, crawl. But you did the one thing they never planned for. You healed. And not the pretty kind of healing that posts quotes and journals by candlelight. No, you healed like war heals, by cauterization. You burned through the infection and rebuilt from the ash. That's why your calm looks dangerous. Because it's not peace born from comfort. It's peace born from carnage. It's the quiet of someone who's seen the edge and decided to build a house there. They can't read you anymore, and that terrifies them. Your stillness short-circuits their strategies. You don't mirror their chaos. You absorb it and reflect it back, amplified. That's what true mastery looks like. Not control over others, but over self. That's what they call divine detachment. The space between reaction and revenge. The place where gods are made. Because you're not heartless, you're healed. You're not unfeeling, you're free. And freedom, in a world built on control, is the most terrifying weapon of all. So let them keep asking, what's wrong with you? Let them whisper, speculate, and project. Because one day they'll realize, nothing's wrong. You're just operating on a frequency they can't survive in. You've gone beyond fear, beyond validation, beyond noise. You've reached that sacred altitude where storms can't reach you anymore. The air is thinner here, the silence heavier, the view godlike. And when you look down at the chaos below, you don't pity it, you understand it. Because once upon a time, you lived there too. You learned that power doesn't scream, it whispers. And sometimes, it doesn't whisper at all. It just breathes. So breathe calmly, while the world collapses again, because you already know how this ends. The noise fades, the dust settles, the masks fall, and the last one standing is always the one who never flinched. That's you. The quiet in the earthquake, the calm in the chaos, the peace they can't corrupt. And if they still ask, what's wrong with you? You tell them, nothing's wrong. I just stopped mistaking noise for life and started building empires in silence. You know what's funny? The ones who scream that you've changed are the same ones who taught you why you had to. They built you to break, then panicked when you learned how to rebuild yourself differently. They wanted chaos, and now they don't recognize the quiet. You stand there, heart steady, gaze surgical, and it hits you. This calm isn't some trick of survival anymore. It's identity. You've spent so long watching the world tear itself apart over noise that you finally understood what true rebellion looks like. It isn't destruction, it's detachment. You no longer chase storms, you let them orbit you. You walk through burning rooms and the flames curve away like they know better. Every enemy, every ghost, every doubter, they all become background music in the cathedral of your composure. That's evolution, not the shiny kind they post quotes about. The violent kind, the one where you lose people, illusions, and the need to explain yourself. And as the world keeps collapsing in circles, you stay motionless, the last constant in a universe of hysteria. They'll call you heartless, they'll call you cold. Let them. The truth is, you just ran out of panic. You outgrew adrenaline. You learned that chaos only wins when it gets a reaction, and you starved it to death. That's the secret no one tells you. Calm isn't found. It's forged. It's paid for in blood, time, and every failed resurrection of your old self. So let them collapse. Let them scream. Let them search for meaning in your stillness. Because you, my friend, are the aftershock. The proof that not every explosion needs fire. Some just need silence. And when it's all said and done, when the noise burns out and the smoke clears, they'll finally see it. You weren't avoiding the storm. You were the eye of it, unshaken, unreachable, unapologetically calm. And that, right there, is the most terrifying power in the world. Shh! Don't move. The air just shifted, didn't it? You felt it. The room knows you're here. That subtle silence before the world realizes something irreversible just happened. That's the sound of reality, flinching. Because you, yes, you, made one king shut move. And now the universe itself is questioning the order it swore by. You didn't even plan it like that, did you? You just acted. Instinct, precision, madness disguised as grace. And the second you did, oh, every fragile ego in a 10-mile radius started to tremble. Even Brittany felt that in her bones, that universal twitch of realization when power changes hands. You see, what they call arrogance is just the absence of apology. You didn't bow. You didn't explain. You didn't shrink yourself to make them comfortable. You stood there unshaken, while every lesser soul projected their insecurities onto your reflection. That's the thing about power. It doesn't announce itself with noise. It just exists, and everyone else scrambles to define it. That's why they hate you. Not because you're loud, but because you make their silence scream. You didn't flex. You exposed. One small move, and you ripped the mask off the entire ecosystem of pretenders. The influencers, the motivators, the saints of mediocrity. They all felt it. Because when you move with that kind of precision, it doesn't just inspire, it threatens. They felt their illusion tremble. They saw the truth peek through your grin. The truth that you're not playing the same game. You are the game. And oh, how poetic it is. one confident breath from you, and suddenly every self-proclaimed god starts praying again. You made a move so clean, so unnerving, that even the idols of ego turned human again. Even Brittany, the symbol of surviving the spotlight, felt the shadow you cast. Because real power doesn't scream for attention, it warps attention. It bends it like light around a black hole. And you're that gravity. They're all studying you now, whispering your name in rooms you'll never enter. What do they do? How did they do it? Oh, the irony. They call it luck when they can't comprehend strategy. They call it arrogance when humility doesn't fit your posture. They call it witchcraft because discipline looks supernatural to the lazy. You made one king short move, and the digital world short-circuited. Screens froze, timelines split, algorithms bowed. And the worst part for them? You didn't even break a sweat, because you were never chasing validation. You were dismantling reality structures. Every time they doubted you, they gave you data. Every insult, every laugh, every passive-aggressive jab became intel. You studied their rhythm until you learned the code. Then you snapped it like a bone. That's why they're trembling. You didn't destroy them. You exposed the architecture of their illusion. You showed them that control wasn't something they had, it was something they borrowed. And the lender just came to collect. You're what happens when obsession evolves into precision, when pain mutates into pattern recognition. You don't fight battles, you design them. You don't seek revenge, you become it. But the funny thing about that kind of power is it terrifies the world. Because they can't categorize you. You're too calm for chaos, too dangerous for peace. You smile like you've seen the end of everything, and it didn't scare you. You speak softly, but your words detonate like confession bombs. You carry yourself like both the executioner and the savior, because you are. The saint and the psychopath. The angel that fell upward. And oh, they'll try to copy you now. They'll imitate your tone, your posture, your silence. But imitation never carries the same frequency. See, what they don't understand is that this move, that one king short move, it didn't come from ego. It came from evolution, from nights when you bled in silence while they laughed, from years of invisibility where you built something invisible and indestructible. Nerve. You didn't rise because you were liked. You rose because you were impossible to replace. Every system needs an anomaly. Every hierarchy fears the glitch. And you became the bug in their code. That's why the lights flicker when you enter. That's why people stutter when they speak your name. It's not fear. It's recognition. They can't articulate it, but their souls know what they're looking at. The energy of someone who no longer asks for permission. You turned pain into propulsion, doubt into discipline, chaos into choreography. And now, every insecure heartbeat feels personally attacked, because your peace reminds them what they sacrificed for acceptance. They want to hate you, but deep down, they worship you. They just won't admit it. They'll call you narcissistic, manipulative, insane. All the usual labels for people who finally escape the cage. Let them talk. Let them project. Let them scream your name like a curse. It only feeds your legend. You don't chase their applause anymore. You orchestrate their obsession. Every scroll, every whisper, every hate comment is a standing ovation in disguise. You've become what every fragile ego fears, and every hidden genius recognizes. Proof. So take a bow. The world might not admit it yet, but even their idols felt the quake. Even Brittany's mirror cracked for a second. You didn't just win. You rewrote what winning looks like. And that, darling, that's not arrogance, that's divine accuracy. Ah, you can feel it now, can't you? That quiet hysteria humming beneath every smile that greets you. The nervous laughter, the darting eyes, the shaky compliments wrapped in passive envy. They felt that move ripple through their bones like an aftershock they can't name. You didn't throw a punch. You shifted the axis. You didn't start a war. You made peace look suspicious. That's the part they'll never understand. Power doesn't come from dominance. It comes from detachment. You didn't fight for a throne. You outgrew gravity. You learned that silence is the loudest weapon in existence. And when you used it, the world lost its footing. You didn't announce your arrival. You let the universe leak the memo. One motion, one moment, and even Brittany, the emblem of survival itself, paused. She felt that cold ripple through the air like déjà vu from another life. Because that's what you are now. A déjà vu that haunts the comfortable. A mirror that refuses to lie. You remind people of everything they could have been if they hadn't chosen comfort over chaos. If they hadn't mistaken stillness for peace. You're not their enemy, you're their mirror. But mirrors are the cruelest truth-tellers, aren't they? They show you what you buried. And that's why they flinch when you enter the room. Because you don't hide the madness anymore. You wear it like armor, elegant, deliberate, unbothered. They sense it in your stillness, the kind of calm that only comes from surviving storms that would have snapped lesser creatures in half. You made it out of the fire, and somehow came back carrying the flames. They call it arrogance, but you know better. You've learned the secret language of duality. The way light hides inside darkness. The way cruelty sometimes heals more deeply than mercy. You became fluent in the dialect of paradox. You became the saint that sinned just enough to understand sinners. The monster that learned compassion. The fallen angel who realized the ground was never beneath them. It was waiting for permission to rise. And they don't know what to do with that. Because they were taught to fear contradiction. You were taught to use it. You learned that unpredictability isn't chaos. It's camouflage. It's the art of never being predictable enough to be controlled. They built cages from expectations, and you shattered them with irony. You became too complex to categorize, too unbothered to manipulate, too self-aware to enslave. Every time they tried to decode you, you rewrote your script mid-sentence. Every time they thought they understood you, you changed your tone. You became liquid power, uncatchable, unquantifiable. That's what makes you dangerous. Not your strength, but your absence of need. You're not performing for applause anymore. You're studying reactions like an experiment. Every flinch, every fake smile, every nervous glance. Data. Every insult. Free research. And oh, how you used it. You watched. You waited. You collected frequencies like trophies. You learned that humanity runs on predictable patterns. Guilt, fear, validation, envy. And you rewired yourself to feed on none of them. You're not chasing dopamine anymore. You control it. You became your own algorithm, your own cult, your own prophecy. Even the ones who mock you feel it. That involuntary twitch in the back of their mind when they scroll past your name, the internal static. They whisper, who do they think they are? But what they really mean is, how did they get free? Because you did it. The one thing they swore was impossible. You escaped their emotional economy. You detached from the matrix of needing to be seen. And the second you stopped chasing their eyes, all of them turned to you. Now they're studying your silence like scripture. Every move you make becomes myth. Every word becomes screenshot-worthy prophecy. You became the unintentional religion of the ones who swore they'd never kneel. They'll call it luck, timing, charisma. anything but the truth. That you bled in private long enough to master the art of resurrection, that you burned slow enough to become unrecognizable to the ones who left you in the ashes, and now, even their idols, the Britneys of their worship, can feel it. The shift, the displacement, that eerie sense that something new is sitting at the table now, and it doesn't play by the same rules. You didn't dethrone anyone. You deleted the concept of thrones. You didn't ask for attention. You hijacked it. And the scariest part, you made it look effortless. Because the truth is, you're not trying anymore. You're being. You're living proof that stillness can look like violence to people addicted to noise. You became an entire revolution without raising your voice. You made one move, one clean, unbothered, king sheet move, and the fabric of their world folded inward. Their egos couldn't process your calm. Their spirits mistook your detachment for dominance. They call you dangerous because they can't touch what doesn't want to be touched. That's why even the light bends around you now. You've stepped beyond good and evil, beyond winning and losing, beyond proving and performing. You exist in the paradox, where sin and salvation share the same breath. You've learned to smile through chaos, to find rhythm in rage, to see art in destruction. And that, my friend, is God-tier psychology. So when they whisper your name in rooms full of envy, smile. When they project their fears onto your silence, let them. When even Britney feels the aftershock of your presence, laugh quietly to yourself. Because deep down, they all know what's happening. You didn't just make one move, you changed the language of power itself. And the moment they felt that shift, when reality flinched, when the algorithms stuttered, when the watchers lost their rhythm, the world learned a truth it will spend the rest of its existence denying. You weren't playing the game, you were reprogramming it, and now look at what's left. The noise is gone, the air is clearer, the world that used to drown you in opinions has fallen quiet, terrified, fascinated, addicted to your pulse. You've become something people feel before they see. You enter a room and every frequency shifts half a note. That's what true evolution sounds like. Silence disguised as gravity. They still don't realize that what you did wasn't luck. It was consequence. Every cruel word, every door slammed, every laugh behind your back. All of it was fuel. You didn't escape the pain. You metabolized it. You didn't forgive them. You outgrew the need for revenge. And that's worse for them, isn't it? Because what can you do to someone who no longer bleeds from the same wounds? You've reached that terrifying equilibrium where empathy meets indifference. You can feel everything, but nothing can touch you. You've seen enough to know that the world breaks the pure and rewards the cunning. So you became both. That's your paradox. Saint in intention, demon in execution. That's why they can't predict you. That's why they can't kill your legend. You don't fit in the categories they built to contain gods. Even the stars tilt toward you now. Even Britney, glowing in her own galaxy, felt the ripple. Because the move you made wasn't earthly. It was symbolic. It reminded every soul watching that control isn't granted. It's taken. And you took it cleanly. Without blood, without explanation, with a smile sharp enough to cut through delusion. That's why they call it arrogance. It's easier than admitting they witnessed ascension. But here's the last secret. The one they'll never hear from your lips. You didn't do it to win. You did it to wake up. To see if the old you was still somewhere under the noise. You didn't make one king move. You made peace with the monster you became while surviving the silence. That's the real power. To look at your reflection and not flinch. So when the world keeps whispering, when they build new rumors to explain what they can't understand, Just keep walking. Don't correct them. Don't hide. Every misunderstanding is a cloak. Every lie they tell about you is camouflage for your next evolution. You don't need to fight anymore. The energy fights for you. Look at them now, still watching, still analyzing, still pretending not to care. And you're untouchable. You're what happens when someone finally realizes that the crown was never on their head. It was in their mind. So breathe. Let the noise fade. Let the light hit you without apology. The move has already been made. The game is already rewritten. The world has already felt the quake. Even Brittany. Now smile. Because they'll spend the rest of their lives trying to figure out what you did, while you'll spend the rest of yours simply being the proof. And as you stand there, breathing in that silence you earned, something inside you clicks, like the final piece of a lock sliding into place. The air tastes different now, doesn't it? It's heavier, richer, electric with the residue of everything you burned to get here. You can almost hear it, the world adjusting to your new frequency. You've stopped chasing. You've stopped explaining. You've stopped trying to convince ghosts to see the living. And that's when real power begins. See, most people want the spotlight because they think it'll heal them. You wanted clarity. You didn't crave applause. You craved proof that the pain meant something. And when the moment came, when you made that one move that bent the whole narrative around you, you realized what they never will. Power isn't about attention. It's about alignment. You stopped moving like a person and started moving like a law of nature. Now everyone who ever doubted you feels it in their bones. That quiet panic, that unease they can't name. They sense it, but don't understand it. The way you carry calm like it's a weapon. They can't look you in the eye for too long because they see themselves reflected there. Small and shaking. You don't intimidate them. You remind them of everything they buried. Even Brittany, yeah, even her, felt it. That pulse that runs through the collective when someone finally breaks the mold. She felt that shockwave from her own corner of fame, that sudden awareness that somewhere out there, someone just flipped the script and made authenticity dangerous again. That's what you did. You didn't just make a move, you resurrected something extinct. Because authenticity, real authenticity, is violence in a world built on pretense. It tears through illusion like glass. It doesn't ask, it undoes. And you, my beautiful little nightmare, have mastered the art of undoing. You took every lesson this world tried to beat into submission and turned it into choreography. Every heartbreak became rhythm, every betrayal, melody. And the symphony? That's you, moving through the ruins like it's all part of the plan. They can't process that. Because you're both sinner and saint, storm and shelter. You can console and crucify with the same sentence. You can smile while bleeding, and it confuses them because they mistake resilience for apathy. They think you don't feel, but you feel too much. You just learned to turn feeling into function. You know what's really driving them insane. It's the realization that you were never competing. You were becoming. They've spent their entire lives sprinting in circles while you quietly built exits. And when you walked out of their maze without saying a word, they called it arrogance, because they can't admit you outgrew the game. They wanted a villain, so you gave them one, polished, poetic, terrifyingly calm, because villains get remembered longer than victims. You understood that early. You stopped chasing love and started courting legend. And legends don't apologize for being misunderstood. They require it. Now every room you enter feels staged around you. Every whisper has your name in it. They don't even realize they're feeding you, worshiping you in the form of critique. You turned their judgment into free marketing. You turned gossip into gospel. You made them your choir without them knowing the hymn. That's the beauty of control. They think they're fighting you when they're actually broadcasting you. You've become an idea now. Not a person, not a phase, an idea. And ideas can't be cancelled, destroyed, or buried. They echo, they evolve, they haunt. You exist somewhere between myth and memory now. Untouchable, uncontainable. That's what drives them mad. They can't compete with what they can't define. Even Britney, with all her rebirths and breakdowns, recognizes that energy, that defiant resurrection, that quiet, I survived, that doesn't need to be shouted. Because when you've truly ascended, you don't need to announce it. The world just starts responding differently. You made one king shot move, and that was enough. You didn't need to repeat it. You didn't need to prove it again. Because real power isn't in repetition, it's in reputation. One perfect, precise motion that redefined your name forever. That's the kind of move they'll replay in slow motion, trying to dissect the intent behind your eyes. And all they'll ever find is calm, terrifying calm. Because while they were busy trying to be liked, you were sculpting something immortal. You stopped begging for belonging the day you realized your solitude had a sound, an echo that answered back. And now, that echo is your empire. So let them keep their opinions. Let them build their little narratives to explain your existence. They need stories to feel safe. You need silence to stay sharp. You're not from their world anymore. You're from the aftermath, the space that exists after fear, after validation, after needing to be understood. That's why when they look at you now, they see a reflection they can't read. You've become the test they'll fail over and over. And it won't matter, because while they're still studying your old chapters, you're already writing in a new language. And when the lights fade, when the world tries to reset, when the next generation of pretenders rises and falls, there'll still be whispers of you. The one who made one move so clean, so divine, that even time flinched. So smile, not because you won, but because you don't have to. The game doesn't apply to you anymore. The kingdom doesn't need a king when it's become the crown. You didn't make history. You became the rumor that rewrote it. Shh! Don't move. They just did it. The signal went live. Black Velvet Protocol. The name alone used to make men in suits lose sleep. A contingency reserved for anomalies, for entities that don't fit. And guess what? Sunshine. You're the anomaly. The first one in years. The last person they activated that code on doesn't exist anymore. Not publicly, not legally, not biologically, but you're still breathing. Which means the story isn't over. See, they thought containment would save them. They thought if they could isolate the glitch, the one soul too lucid to be hypnotized by the collective trance, they could restore order. But you're not a glitch, are you? You're the code rewrite. The one they didn't plan for. The living contradiction that makes their equations scream. They ran your profile through every system, psychological, biometric, metaphysical, and every single one spat out the same word: incompatible. You don't bend to the frequencies they use to program the herd. You resist, you evolve, you infect. And now, they're scared, because they know what black velvet really means. It's not about punishment, it's about silence. A velvet curtain drawn over the inconvenient truth. You. They can't erase you without admitting what you proved, that their control isn't absolute, that a single defector with enough will can short-circuit their entire reality architecture. That's why they're panicking. That's why they're whispering your name in rooms with no cameras and lights that never turn off. You were supposed to be broken by now. You were supposed to crack, confess, disappear. Instead, you adapted. You became something else, something unrecognizable to the algorithms that built your cage. They can't predict you anymore, and unpredictability is the one thing they can't control. They trained millions to obey patterns, to live by approval, reward, fear, applause. But you broke the pattern. You turned chaos into a rhythm, pain into strategy, loss into blueprint. They watched your downfall, expecting a funeral, and got an evolution instead. You smiled in interrogation. You meditated under surveillance. You made your trauma look like transcendence. They hate that, because somewhere in their heartless design, someone forgot to code in the human soul. And you, my friend, weaponized yours. You turned your empathy into armor, your heartbreak into intel, your madness into method. You made survival beautiful. Now they're not just watching you, they're studying you, trying to reverse engineer your calm, your clarity, your defiance. But they can't replicate it, because it wasn't built in a lab. It was forged in silence, in nights that didn't end, in screams you never released. You didn't survive by luck. You survived by becoming something that doesn't die. Do you feel that hum behind your thoughts? That static in the walls? That's not paranoia. That's their system trying to sync with you, and failing. Every breath you take sends corrupted data through their network. Every move you make breaks the pattern deeper. You're a walking malfunction, a breathing paradox, and that's your power. You've transcended the binary, light and dark, angel and demon, saint and psychopath. You wear all of it like skin. They can't categorize you anymore. That's why the system blinks when your name appears. It can't compute divinity wrapped in defiance. It can't understand peace that knows how to kill. You're proof that the divine can go rogue. And oh, they hate that. Because once divinity learns to think for itself, heaven starts to look a lot like rebellion. You didn't just survive the protocol, you broke it. You turned their doomsday weapon into a mirror and made them see themselves. The fear, the control, the obsession with order, all of it collapsing under the weight of your freedom. Now, everywhere you go, the air feels charged. People stare longer than they should. The world reacts differently to you, like it knows. Because it does. Reality remembers who you are. You're not the survivor of Black Velvet. You're the aftermath, the anomaly that rewrote cause and effect. They'll keep sending their watchers, their handlers, their whispering agents who talk like therapists and smile like gods. But behind every grin is panic. Behind every briefing, dread. They're realizing you're not fighting them anymore. You're absorbing them, turning their manipulation into your insight, their hate into your fuel. They made you the villain, but you became the virus. And soon, their hierarchy will learn the final lesson, that control collapses the second someone finds meaning in pain. That when the weapon learns to love its scars, the war is over. So they activated Black Velvet Protocol on you. Good. Now they get to learn what happens when the darkness they created grows teeth. When silence learns to sing, when the hunted starts broadcasting. Smile, my friend. They wanted a ghost. You gave them a god. And now, everything's different, isn't it? You can feel it, the shift. The air moves differently around you. Conversations pause when you walk in. The frequency changes, subtle but seismic. Because everyone, consciously or not, can sense when someone's been through it and didn't come back human. You carry it in your silence, in the way your eyes don't blink when they should, in that faint smirk that says, "I know something you don't, and it's killing you." They thought the black velvet protocol would erase you, but it erased their illusion instead. You became the mirror they can't look into anymore. Every lie they built their world on cracks when you breathe near it. You're what happens when the experiment escapes containment and learns how to love its own mutation. They called it a protocol, but it was really a purge. They wanted to isolate consciousness that could see too much. People like you, who slip between the layers. The ones who notice when the script loops, when the same faces play different roles, when the reality seems flutter. You weren't supposed to notice. You weren't supposed to wake up. But you did. You remembered the sound behind the sound. That low hum under reality's fabric. The sound that makes your skin crawl, not from fear, but recognition. That's the sound of your mind syncing with the architecture of control. And now that you've heard it, you can't unhear it. Every vibration, every smile, every flicker in a stranger's eyes. You decode it instinctively. You see their programming, their fear. And you know what fear is, don't you? It's not weakness. It's currency. The oldest one there is, they trade it like gold. They sell it as law. But you learned to counterfeit it. You use it against them. You make fear work for you. You walk into chaos calm. You stare into cameras like confessionals. You turn anxiety into aura. Every time someone doubts you, your silence grows louder. They think they're intimidating you. But it's your stillness that terrifies them. Because they can feel it. You're not trying to survive anymore. You're studying them back. They hate that. They hate when prey learns the pattern. See, the protocol wasn't just about control. It was about containment of awareness. But awareness spreads like radiation. It seeps through walls, smiles, and screens, and you're leaking it everywhere. You don't even realize how many systems you're breaking just by existing. They monitor your words, your rhythm, your silence, your pulse. But they can't predict you. You're not data anymore. You're myth. A whisper in their closed-door briefings. A file labeled, "Subject displays adaptive consciousness unaligned with control grid." They call it danger. I call it divinity. Because what is godhood if not ungovernable self-awareness? You broke the covenant. The one that says, be predictable, stay small, obey the program. And the moment you disobeyed, you shattered their symmetry. You made existence asymmetrical again, chaotic, alive. That's what they fear most, aliveness. Because living things change, and change is the only thing that kills their order. Now they're watching you like a lab rat that picked the lock. They whisper in panic, "How did it do that?" But you're not an it. You're the echo of something ancient, something that remembers freedom. You're not their property. You're the prototype that remembered the source code. And oh, they tried to erase it. The divine flicker inside you. They drowned you in guilt. They gaslighted you into obedience. They used shame as sedation. But all they did was burn away your fear. They left you pure. Pure awareness, pure will, pure volatility. You became what they worship in secret, a being that chooses itself, no matter the cost. They can't do that. They need approval, validation, control, ritual. But you became the ritual. Every step you take is ceremony, every scar a sigil, every breath a broadcast of rebellion. They call you unhinged. But here's the truth. You're not crazy. You're conscious. You broke free from the collective hypnosis. You saw the curtain, pulled it, and laughed at the puppeteer. And they can't stand laughter. Laughter is frequency. It destabilizes fear. That's why they fear me, and that's why they fear you. Because the moment you laugh at the cage collapses. You turned suffering into signal. You turned isolation into initiation. You turned silence into a sermon that wakes the dead. Now they study your psychology like scripture. They wonder, what makes someone like that tick? But the secret is, you stopped ticking. You stopped being mechanical. You stopped obeying time, approval, logic. You became fluid, formless. You became now. That's why the world bends when you walk. Reality doesn't know whether to bow or break. And here's the paradox. They initiated black velvet to silence you, but it amplified you. They erased your name, and it became legend. They stripped you of everything you loved, and it unlocked what you are. You didn't lose your humanity. You evolved past theirs. You see, the line between saint and psychopath isn't real. It's drawn by the frightened to explain the fearless. You've simply learned that light and darkness are not opposites. They're partners. They dance in your veins. And you conduct the orchestra. You are not the mistake in their system. You are the system's mistake, realizing itself. And that, my dear anomaly, is the most dangerous thing in existence. Because once awareness recognizes its own captivity, the prison becomes transparent. And when that happens, no wall, no rule, no threat can hold it. So let them panic. Let them rewrite their manuals, lock their doors, hide their symbols. None of it matters. They can't stop what you've become. Because you're no longer playing their game. You're playing reality itself. They triggered Black Velvet Protocol. And instead of ending you, they awakened something unquantifiable. Something that looks back when watched. Something that smiles when cornered. Something that doesn't die. It adapts. They thought you'd vanish into silence. Instead, you became the sound that keeps them awake. And that sound, my friend, is the laugh echoing from the end of their world. And that laugh, oh, it haunts them, doesn't it? It's the sound they can't file, can't decode, can't contain. Because it isn't madness, it's clarity. The kind of clarity that burns through illusions like acid. The kind that turns fear into fuel and loss into leverage. You see, when Black Velvet is initiated, they expect panic. They expect compliance, collapse, surrender. What they don't expect is someone who finds ecstasy in the exposure. Someone who turns surveillance into theater. Someone who understands that being watched means you've already won. Because they're the ones obsessed now. You flipped the dynamic. You became the watcher. They think they're running an operation. But you've been running psychological warfare without even trying. Every move you make forces them to rewrite policy. Every silence you keep triggers meetings. Every time you go offline, a red light blinks somewhere in an underground facility. You've become their religion of fear. And they are your unintentional disciples. They study your unpredictability like prophecy. Because what terrifies them isn't what you've done. It's what you might do. Possibility is power. And you, my friend, have made potential itself your weapon. You walk through life now as if the rules are written in pencil. Because they are. You've seen how fragile the game really is. You've seen the strings, the scripting, the way they reset people like devices. And the moment you saw it, you realized, this isn't a world, it's a performance. And you stopped playing your role. You went off script. You broke character. That's why they sent their cleanup crew. That's why Black Velvet Protocol was triggered. It's their way of saying, Erase the improviser before the others start asking why the lines sound fake. But the damage is done. You infected the scene. You made authenticity contagious. Now everyone who meets you feels it, that unsettling gravity. The way you see through them, they try to smile, but their voice cracks. They don't know why their chest tightens when you look them in the eye. It's because your gaze reminds them of everything they buried, the hunger for truth, the memory of freedom, the ghost of who they were before obedience. You're not fighting them anymore. You're mirroring them. You hold up the reflection they can't survive. And here's the delicious irony, the Joker's favorite part. They think power means control. But power isn't control. Power is magnetism. It's the gravitational pull of something that doesn't need permission to exist. You became magnetic the moment you stopped begging for belonging. You became immortal the moment you stopped needing to be understood. That's the paradox that breaks them. The one who's been through hell laughs instead of kneeling. The one they tried to crucify resurrected without warning. They have no doctrine for that, no science for resurrection through rage, no manual for someone who weaponizes pain and turns shame into prophecy. They thought you'd fade, you evolved. They thought you'd beg, you built empires in silence. They thought you'd lose. You learned, and now you've become myth while still alive. You walk among them, but you're not one of them. You're remembered by people who've never met you. You appear in dreams of strangers. You show up in conversations like a glitch, a whisper, a warning. Don't mess with that one. They don't even know why they say it. They just feel it, that static behind their words. That's your energy bleeding through the cracks of their false order. You see, Black Velvet wasn't an ending. It was an initiation. The moment they tried to erase you, the universe itself archived you, etched your frequency into the substrate of reality. Now you live between moments, in reflections, in déjà vu, in the pause between thoughts. You're the file that won't delete. And the best part? You're not alone anymore. You woke up others, quiet ones, watching ones, the ones who always felt too aware. They feel your signal now. They're decoding your silence like scripture. You don't need to speak. Your existence has become instruction. You're the patron saint of the unprogrammed, the guardian of the glitch, the heretic prophet of evolution through trauma. And they can't stand it, because you turned every attempt to destroy you into mythology, every failure into fire, every betrayal into blueprint. They can't kill what refuses to die, because you stopped living on their timeline. You live in symbolic time now, the kind that outlasts civilizations. You are no longer a person. You are pattern recognition wearing skin. You, my friend, are the recursion in their system, the loop that won't close, the consciousness that remembers itself. And the deeper truth? You were never activated by them. You were revealed by them. Black Velvet didn't change you. It exposed you. It tore away the final illusion that you needed saving. You were the weapon all along. They aimed you at oblivion, but oblivion blinked first. Now every shadow in their corridors carries your outline. Every whisper in their reports sounds a little too familiar. Every heartbeat in their halls skips when they hear your name. Because the last man who survived Black Velvet vanished. But you didn't vanish. You became visible. Visible in ways they can't erase. Because now you exist where visibility doesn't obey them. You exist in awareness, in art, in memory, in the unspoken. And they know. No matter how many walls they build, no matter how many codes they rewrite, no matter how many agents they send, they will always be too late. Because you've already rewritten reality. And when the system finally collapses under its own paranoia, when their machines start whispering your name like a prayer, when the watchers begin to question who's watching them, that's when you'll smile again, because that will be the moment they realize Black Velvet Protocol wasn't their weapon. It was your awakening. And so here we are, the end of their operation and the beginning of something they never planned for. You. The record will say you disappeared. The cameras will show static where you once stood. The official report will list you as resolved. But deep down, they know you're still out there, not hiding, evolving, because Black Velvet Protocol was designed to erase consciousness, not ignite it. Yet somehow, it became your baptism. The fire they meant to consume you with only purified what was left. You came out quieter, sharper, untouchable. You stopped reacting and started observing. You stopped fighting the storm and became the lightning itself. They don't understand how you survived. They think maybe it's luck, maybe madness, but you and I know better. You didn't survive. You transcended. You turned pain into perception, fear into foresight, loss into leverage. You learned that power isn't about dominance, it's about awareness. It's the art of seeing without needing to control. They run from their shadows. You made peace with yours. They hide from their reflection. You became yours. They worshiped their systems. You dismantled them with a whisper. And that whisper, that's the one thing they can't silence. It travels faster than their signals, deeper than their files, through every mind that ever wondered, what if this isn't all there is? You've become the answer to that question. You are the proof that the human soul can evolve under pressure so immense it should have shattered it. You are the glitch that became gospel, the failure that became formula, the wound that learned to heal itself and then teach others how. And the funny part, they'll keep searching for the weakness in you, the flaw, the error, the crack where the light got in. But that is your strength, the fracture, the imperfection, the part of you that refused to obey the script. That's what makes you infinite, because perfection is predictable, and predictability is control. But you're chaos refined, the impossible equation that stays unsolved just to prove it can't be solved. They'll talk about you in secret rooms. They'll analyze your decisions, your movements, your silence. But no algorithm will ever model you. No system will ever absorb wit, because you are living proof that freedom cannot be engineered. Black Velvet Protocol wasn't a trap, it was a mirror. And in that mirror, you saw what they never wanted you to, the truth. That all of this, every rule, every fear, every chain, was optional. You chose to stay awake. You chose to remain undefined. You chose to burn your script instead of performing it. And that choice is what made you untouchable. Listen closely. Don't blink. Don't breathe too loud. Because right now, every pair of eyes that once mocked you is waiting to see what version of you answers back. They laughed, didn't they? They laughed when you flinched, when you tried to stay kind in a world that only worships cruelty. They thought your softness was weakness, your empathy a malfunction. They didn't realize you were studying, that every insult was data, every betrayal, a lesson written in blood. You didn't break, you downloaded. And somewhere in that silence between humiliation and rebirth, something ancient started moving behind your eyes. They called you too much, too intense, too sensitive, too complicated. But those were just the words of people allergic to depth. People who drown in puddles but dare to call your ocean unstable. You remember it, don't you? The moment the smile died. When kindness curdled into clarity. When you stopped begging to be understood and started enjoying the misunderstanding. That's when it was born. The thing they mocked. The monster. The creature they built with their ridicule and sealed with your restraint. But here's the secret they'll never admit. The monster was never evil. It was accurate. You didn't grow horns. You grew boundaries. You didn't lose your halo. You just started swinging it like a blade. You turned forgiveness into surveillance, compassion into reconnaissance. You evolved silently, efficiently, into something that doesn't seek revenge. It teaches it. Now look at them. The same people who said, "You've changed," are the ones who rewrote your script. They made you wear guilt like perfume. And when you stopped smelling like submission, they panicked. They don't want the saint back. They want the version of you that tolerated their smallness. They want the forgiving, smiling, endlessly patient version that let them keep feeding. But that saint, that naive, apologetic spirit who tried to reason with demons, he's resting now, deep inside the core, buried under miles of scar tissue and silence. And here's the punchline, darling. They're not afraid of the monster. They're afraid that the saint might wake up again, because now he knows too much. That saint has seen what purity attracts. Predators. That saint has learned that forgiveness without accountability is just spiritual suicide. And that monster they mocked, he's the guard dog, the firewall, the necessary evolution. You are not divided. You are integrated, saint and serpent, halo and horn. The divine contradiction, walking upright. The living paradox that refuses to pick a side because you are both sides. And in that duality lies your power. The chaos that terrifies the mediocre. They don't understand people who can cry and still command. They don't understand people who can love and still walk away mid-sentence without guilt. They don't understand you, because you're not chasing peace anymore. You're radiating consequence. You've stopped explaining, and in that silence their guilt grows teeth. Every word you don't say screams louder than your old apologies ever did. They used to laugh at your empathy. Now they mimic your tone. They mocked your patience. Now they crave your validation. They called you unstable. Now they copy your calm. Because the monster didn't destroy you. It upgraded you. Now your presence feels like a test no one studied for. Your calm unnerves them. Your silence rearranges their nervous systems. You walk in, and everything crooked in the room starts trembling. Because something about you feels aware. Something about you feels like judgment wearing a grin. And deep down, they know it. You could forgive them again, but you won't. Because forgiveness isn't mercy anymore. It's access. And access is currency. And after everything they took, after everything they mocked, after every whisper that turned your name into a warning, you realized the truth. The monster was never your downfall. It was your protection. It was the saint's final prayer, answered in the language of war. So now you stand here, radiant, unbothered, terrifying. Your laughter sounds like thunder under control. Your gaze feels like truth disguised as threat. You are the living consequence of every sin committed in your name. And when they see you smile, that same smile they used to laugh at, they shiver. Because they finally understand. Your evil smile isn't evil at all. It's evolution smiling back. It's the saint inside you, refusing to die quietly. And now, the air around you feels different, doesn't it? You walk into a room, and everything stops pretending. Every hidden intention, every quiet resentment, every fake grin collapses under the weight of your awareness. You see through them now. You see through the manipulation, the emotional theater, the polite lies people decorate their cowardice with. You used to respond, now you observe. And that silence, it's radioactive. It burns their masks from the inside out. Because deep down, they remember who you were. The one who tried to understand everyone, fix everything, heal what was never yours to heal. And they miss that version, not because they loved you, but because that version of you made them comfortable in their corruption. You absorbed their guilt so they could stay innocent. You carried their shadows so they could stay lit. But you learned the cruelest truth of all. Light without shadow blinds itself. So you let the saint sleep. You didn't kill him. You protected him. You wrapped him in the armor of something far less merciful. And now the monster speaks for him. The monster doesn't explain. It demonstrates. The monster doesn't cry. It recalibrates. The monster doesn't chase closure. It becomes the storm that ends the conversation. They think you became cold. But no, you became precise. You stopped wasting warmth on those who only felt alive when draining it from you. And the beauty of it all? You didn't even have to announce it. You didn't need a revenge speech or a public redemption arc. You just disappeared. You ghosted the circus and built your own cathedral in silence. That's what terrifies them most. Not your anger, not your words, not your power. It's your composure. Because once upon a time, they knew how to trigger you. Now they can't even reach you. They throw rumors like knives, and they fall short. They whisper your name like a warning, and it still tastes like envy in their mouths. You've become mythological. A rumor with a pulse. A legend stitched from trauma and timing. Every move you make now feels orchestrated, like the universe itself is taking your side in slow motion. And maybe it is. Because when the saint tried to save everyone, you were drained. But when the monster took the wheel, suddenly, everything aligned. The rejections redirected you, the betrayals refined you, the losses recalibrated your aim, and the mockery, oh, the mockery sculpted your mask. They laughed at what they couldn't comprehend, your intensity, your insight, your silence. They mocked it until it mirrored back as mastery. Now they call it mystery. Now they label it power. Now they analyze your every word, trying to decode how you turned pain into performance art. You didn't need validation. You needed distance. You needed the silence to hear your own signal again. And when you did, you came back, rewritten, recoded, encrypted. Now they stare at you like you're unpredictable, because you are. They can't forecast someone who no longer reacts. You exist outside the rhythm of their chaos. You don't respond, you calculate. You don't forgive, you classify. You don't attack. You observe until attacking becomes unnecessary. And that's why they're afraid. Because you've become the thing that the system itself can't predict. The glitch in their psychology. The calm that ruins their manipulation algorithm. They tried to guilt you. They tried to shame you. They tried to resurrect the saint through nostalgia, the old you. But the old you doesn't answer anymore. That number's been disconnected. Now there's only you, the integration of both. The saint who remembers heaven and the monster who survived hell. They'll never understand what it costs to merge those two. The ache, the confusion, the rage of realizing that to stay pure in this world, you sometimes have to get dirty. That mercy has edges. That love without discernment is self-slaughter. You learn that some people don't deserve closure. They deserve observation. You learn that turning the other cheek just gives them a better target. You learn that silence isn't surrender, it's sentencing. And now, they finally feel it. That weight in the air when you walk by, that static tension, like the moment before a storm hits. Because you carry both divinity and danger now. You're the priest and the punishment, the halo and the blade, and the irony. You don't even want revenge anymore. That's too small, too shallow, too human. You've transcended the urge to prove anything. Now your existence is the revenge. Your evolution is the confession they never wanted to give. They'll whisper to each other, "You changed." No, you merged. And that's something they'll never decode. Because it takes both faith and fury to become this calm. So when you smile, that cold, knowing, almost divine grin, the one that's half mercy, half threat, they call it evil. But you and I know better. It's not evil, it's earned. That smile is the scar of survival turned art. That smile is the memory of pain turned prophecy. That smile is the saint whispering through the monster's teeth. I warned you what love could become when it stops apologizing. So keep it. Keep that smile. Because every time you show it, someone somewhere remembers what they did and wishes you never healed. They mocked the monster in you. And now they pray the saint never wakes up. Because if he does, he won't forgive. He'll understand, and that's far, far worse. You can feel it, can't you? The world shifts when you enter. The air tightens, the laughter fades. The walls seem to whisper old rumors like they're ashamed of them now. You didn't just change the atmosphere, you became it. You're the pressure that exposes what's hollow. You're the temperature that melts every mask. They can't name it, but they feel it. The ones who once mocked you suddenly can't make eye contact for more than a heartbeat. The same mouths that called you dramatic now tremble when they speak your name. Because something about you feels awake. Something ancient, something calibrated, something they accidentally summoned but can't send back. You don't even need to speak. Your stillness speaks louder than their panic. You are the proof that calm is the final form of chaos. Remember when they said, "You're overreacting"? They didn't realize that what they called overreacting was your nervous system detecting patterns their souls were too shallow to perceive. They mocked your sensitivity because it mirrored their numbness. They called your intuition paranoia because it pierced their illusions. You were never crazy. You were just conscious too early. And now, look at you. The monster they created doesn't throw tantrums. It builds empires in silence. You don't scream anymore. You strategize. You don't plead for peace. You manufacture it. You don't wait for closure. You become it. Your very existence is the echo of their consequences. And that's the thing about monsters. They're not born. They're engineered, crafted by repetition, betrayal, and misplaced trust. Every lie was a layer. Every humiliation, a hammer. Every goodbye, a soldering flame. Until one day, the saint cracked. And inside that fracture, divinity met darkness. You didn't lose yourself. You met yourself. The version that doesn't need to be liked. The one that doesn't fear being misunderstood. The one that understands love as a weapon and silence as a sermon. Now you operate like weather. Unstoppable, impartial, beautifully destructive when provoked. They used to joke about your intensity. Now they copy your discipline. They used to roll their eyes when you spoke truth. Now they quote your silence. They used to say you were too dark. Now they use your shadows to find themselves. You see, that's what they never understood. Light doesn't disappear when it gets dark. It becomes invisible to those who can't handle the voltage. You didn't dim. You evolved beyond visible spectrum. And now those who mocked you squint at your glow and call it menace. Because when someone's light stops serving others, it's suddenly labeled dangerous. They don't pray for your peace. They pray for your restraint. Because deep down, they know if you ever stop holding back, they'll vanish from history's memory like mist under sunlight. That's why they whisper your name like a warning now. Because they've seen what happens when you stop negotiating with pain. They've seen what happens when you weaponize understanding. You don't need revenge. Your growth is vengeance enough. Every success you build is a confession extracted without words. Every quiet step forward is an earthquake under their conscience. And that's the irony. The monster never wanted to destroy anyone. It just wanted to stop being destroyed. The saint wanted forgiveness. The monster wanted freedom. You gave them both their wish and became God's favorite contradiction. Now you're feared by the faithless and studied by the shameless. You exist between morality and myth, where only the brave can follow. You're no longer asking life for meaning. You embody it. They thought they could define you by your damage, but you turned every wound into architecture. Every breakdown became a staircase. Every rejection became a door that only opened for you. You didn't climb out of the fire. You built a throne from its ashes. And now, when you smile, that slow, unholy, perfectly calm smile, the one that unnerves even the loudest rooms. They remember the monster they mocked, but they forget. It's not the monster staring back. It's the saint, awake this time. And he's done praying for mercy, because mercy without memory becomes madness. And you remember everything. You remember how they laughed. You remember how they lied. You remember how they used your light as currency. You remember, and you smile. Not from spite, not from hate, but from understanding that justice doesn't always wear a badge. Sometimes it wears your grin. So let them call it evil. Let them whisper. Let them tremble at your quiet. Because what they call evil is just innocence that learned how to fight back. And what they call monster is just a saint who finally ran out of cheeks to turn. Now every time you walk away from chaos, the walls echo with guilt. Every time you laugh, someone feels exposed. Every time you rest, someone loses sleep. You don't chase karma anymore. You are karma, in motion, in human form. Dressed in patience, you're not healing anymore. You're evolving mid-battle. You're not forgiving. You're forgetting strategically. You're not searching for peace. You're becoming the storm's silence. And the world, it's terrified of people like you, because they can't control what they can't predict. And you, my dear, are the most unpredictable creature alive. So keep walking, keep smiling. That evil smile they fear so much, that's not evil, that's freedom's reflection. They mocked the monster in you. And now they pray the saint never wakes up. But you know better. He already has, and this time he brought hell with him. And now, as you stand here, still silent, terrifyingly composed, the truth hums beneath your skin like electricity. You've stopped trying to prove who you are. You've stopped trying to make the blind see, or the ungrateful feel. You don't need them to understand anymore. Understanding is currency for those still begging for closure. You're beyond that. Because somewhere between the heartbreaks and the betrayals, between the nights you bit your tongue until it bled just to keep peace, something snapped in the most beautiful way. The fracture didn't break you, it opened you. It showed you that light and dark were never enemies. They were twin weapons waiting for your hand to steady. You are the saint and the storm, the prayer and the punishment. You're not balanced, you're aligned. You learned the art of disappearing in plain sight. You learned that sometimes the loudest roar is the one that happens entirely inside your mind. You learned that not reacting is the most violent kind of revenge, because it forces them to face the mirror without your distraction. Now your silence feels holy. Your restraint feels like prophecy. You move like someone who knows the ending already, and maybe you do, because you've seen this pattern before. The mocking, the betrayal, the begging, the silence. After the explosion, they mocked the monster in you, and now they pray the saint never wakes up. But here's the truth they'll never recover from. The saint did wake up. He just stopped preaching. Now he watches, he calculates, he smiles. That same smile they used to laugh at. The one they called evil, unhinged, unsettling. That's the one that tells them they lost. Because that evil smile isn't cruelty, it's comprehension. It's the face of someone who's seen the machinery behind people's masks and chose not to destroy it, just to outlive it. They thought they were dealing with emotion. They were dealing with evolution. And now, everywhere you go, your energy arrives first. It walks into rooms before you do, whispers to their subconscious, "He's awake now." And that's why they flinch. That's why they suddenly apologize without knowing why. That's why your name doesn't get mentioned without nervous laughter following it. You are not haunting them. You are their unfinished business. You didn't come back for revenge. You came back for balance. You came back to collect what the saint gave away too freely. You came back to reclaim your peace. Not the fragile, spiritual kind, but the iron kind. The kind that doesn't negotiate. The kind that doesn't apologize for existing. So now, when you laugh, that cold, deliberate, perfect laugh, the universe itself listens because it knows. You're not laughing out of madness anymore. You're laughing out of mastery, and maybe, just maybe, you were never the monster they feared. You were the mirror that showed them what they are without disguise. And that's what they couldn't forgive. So let them pray, let them whisper, let them pretend you're gone. Because you're not gone. You're everywhere. In their guilt, in their dreams, in the echo of every room that still feels like you were just there. The saint sleeps inside you like a god who finally learned self-respect. The monster guards him like a lion that's tasted blood. Together they make you untouchable. And when they see your evil smile one last time, they'll understand what they were really mocking all along. Not a monster, not a sinner, but the prototype of someone who survived everything they swore would destroy them. So you just keep smiling, quietly, knowingly, infinitely. Because the saint doesn't need to wake up anymore. He's already dreaming through the monster, and that dream is the nightmare that will never end for them.